Hey guys, it's Devin here. I think back like 3 years ago when I made this, I might have done like my story. Um, but that was 3 years ago and a lot's changed. So it's probably gonna be long. I apologize in advance, but I'm literally gonna give you a base of my past, present, and future plans in this video. If you have any questions about anything, if I didn't cover something that you are unsure of, for sure, shoot me a message. I will be leaving all my information down below on my YouTube here. Um, if not, if you are watching this elsewhere, come on. Everything's the same. So my Insta, my Tumblr, and such. My Gmail even is DevynJaiden. So Gmail, DevynJaiden at gmail.com, DevynJaiden at tumblr.com or .tumblr.com, Insta at DevynJaiden. So all one word, blah blah blah, simple. So hit me up if you have any questions. My anonymous messages are always open on Tumblr if you're not comfortable coming to me on a person-to-person basis, or you're uncomfortable with um, asking certain questions. I'm a pretty open person. If it's one-on-one, you know what? I'm pretty open to talking about just about anything. I've been told I'm kind of an educator of such, because I'm not afraid to talk about anything. And so long as I know you're coming from the right angle, you're not going to use my information against me. You just want to better understand how to approach people in the same kind of predicament as myself. So either transgender, gender nonconforming, or you really aren't sure and you want to approach them properly without misgendering them or causing them any pain or discomfort. For sure, I will educate you on that sense. I have no problem answering any questions. I've had some pretty uncomfortable questions, and I'm all for it. If I'm close enough with you, you might see it all, basically. So, we'll wrap this into my story. I'm sorry I ramble, but if you've watched before, you probably noticed that. Today we are sitting at 7 weeks on, 7 weeks and 1 day on T. Never thought I'd be here. Backtracking it. So, family history. I don't want to say this in the sense of like pity or anything, but let's just say I grew up in a single parent family. I have a fairly small family. We aren't well connected due to personal reasons I won't get into because honestly, no offense, it's none of your business. What happens in my family stays. But, my mom used to work hard 2 or 3 jobs sometimes to keep food on the table. We moved around a lot up until I was about 8 or 9. It was generally just my mom, my older brother, and I. I mean, she dated here and there, but I saw a lot of abusive relationships, and and through the years I've grown through that, and I've used that as an example of what not ever to do in a relationship. But my father was never around, at least since I was born. Uh, I don't know much about him. My mom doesn't talk about him, and I don't want to cause any traumas on her sense. So I don't really ask. Back when I was 12 or 13, I think we almost contacted him but didn't. He's got a very generic name in the sense it's Andrew White. Okay, there's a lot of Andrew Whites out there that are blonde haired, blue eyes, and approximately 6'3" or 4, or I don't know. There's a lot. I don't even know his birthday. So to try and contact him, I wouldn't mind it, just in the sense of knowing what my background is. But that's it. I don't want a relationship. There's no point at this age. I'm not anything he would have expected, and I don't find there's a point in pulling on those strings. I want to move forward in my life. But yeah, growing up, it was my brother helped kind of raise me. Basically, we have a 7 year gap. Um, and he was good, kind of treated me, kept me under his wing, and did the best that he could. Same with my mom. Was life perfect? No. Have I dealt with health issues and such in the past? Yeah. Have I had to pinch pennies and work extra hard to make sure that there's a roof over my head? Yeah. But that builds character in my sense. Should everyone go through that? No. But I know how to manage a dollar. I know how to take care of myself. I've been cooking and cleaning since I was able to put a step stool up against the countertop and help out and then learn myself. So I feel I have advantages in life in that sense because I've grown up this way. Um, my growing up, I always knew something was up. My grandfather was in a serious accident when I was very young, I think 7 or 8, and he was hit by a tractor trailer on his snowmobile. I've watched him on his deathbed more times than I can count. That man has more than 9 lives. I don't even know how he's alive sometimes. It's crazy. I got some strong blood pumping through my veins. That's all I can say. Um, but in that sense, I remember being 8 and 9 and laying in bed, when you had those fantasies, your imagination would go crazy. I wouldn't think of, oh, I'm going to be like in this mansion with this pretty boy and whatever. I don't know what kids think. But my dreams were um, falling asleep or being in the same kind of predicament. It's very odd, but uh, getting in an accident and waking up from a coma, because that's exactly what my grandfather woke to. I read to him while he was in his coma. Um, and waking up as a boy. I thought that was possible at that age. Because I had a somewhat of an understanding of death, and I kind of have always grown up around a more spiritual family in the sense that we believe in not necessarily the afterlife, but having different lifelines. So I thought that was possible, that it would be right then and there. I'd still be somehow in the same family, and it was ridiculous. I was young, but if that wasn't the case, I remember as I got older crying myself to sleep thinking, why wasn't I just born a boy? I would have been so much happier, it would have been so much easier. But I kept that to myself because my family, my mom was dealing with their own stuff, so I kept a lot to myself. I wasn't a very loud and obnoxious person like I am now until I was about 15 or 16 when I first came out. My first girl crush was actually in the 3rd grade. I had a couple of them. Hey, I had gymnasts in my class. Okay, they were very, very cute girls. Of course, I'm gonna be like, hey, hey, you. So I realized that then, but I again just kind of like gargled that all down, and it didn't really resurface until 8th summer of going into high school. So like going into grade 9, 14 years old, 13, 14. I spent a lot of time with my best friend at the time, and basically we lived together. If I wasn't at her house, she was at mine, and I started developing strong feelings. What I thought I would have to in a with a male at that sense. That kind of freaked me out, but I didn't also run from it. So about 6 months later, I came out on Facebook when it was just developing back then. Um, in a note saying, I'm bisexual and blah blah blah. Uh, I dated a few guys here and there. I'm not going to get into details of exactly what I did, but I'm a gold star. Anybody who doesn't understand that, oh well. I've dealt with in the past. Okay, going back a little bit. Sorry. When I was younger, let's just say for a few months, I had a bad babysitter, so I've repressed a lot of those memories. I've dealt with sexual assault. I don't know to the extent because I just remember very minimal things, and I don't like to drag on those because I don't really want to deal with that kind of a trauma as well. Um, it's in the past again. I'd like to move forward. So, uh, technically, I could not be. I don't know a gold star, but I consider myself one. Um, then after that, like I dated a few guys. Things kind of got, let's just say, to like third base on their end, and it was very uncomfortable. Last guy that I dated, I'm just like, yeah, dude, I like chicks. I'm sorry, badge. By the way, I'm very open and blunt. That's the way to go for me. And he was very understanding, and it was only a few week relationship. So, again, minimal relationships. The 10th, 11th grade. I was I didn't really need to come out as being a lesbian. It was just kind of common knowledge, I guess, when you looked at me. And I became more out there and more vibrant and as loud and annoying as you know me now. Um, End of grade 11, going into my senior year of high school, I got into my first real relationship. Sorry, I'm really tired. I've only had about 3 hours of sleep. Um, we actually, their parents were very unsupportive, I guess you should say, or you could say, and once they found out about our relationship, kicked her out. Um, my mom was in the sense of her relationship moving out for one of the last times, and because she was with this guy for 7 years and it was back and forth. But we ended up finding a place, so all three of us lived there, and so I've lived with my ex, and at that point, I was not in a good mental state. I've always struggled with depression. That runs in my family. Addiction runs in my family for the sense of my father and my grandfather was an addict. He was an alcoholic for the vast majority of his adult life. He's been sober for as long as I can remember, but he was not the greatest man back then. So addiction runs in my family, and on my mom's side of the family, mental illness as well, depression, schizophrenic tendencies, and such. So I've always been in and out of that, and I was not in a right mental state. I treated my all of my exes in a sense. I've grown more and more. I treated my first serious girlfriend terribly, and since I have grown, we've reconnected, all's forgiven and such. But because I didn't know who I was, I don't want to make excuses, but yeah, I was not, excuse my language, I was an asshole. I was a complete asshole. Um, I don't know if anybody out there can relate in the sense of when you are deep into that state, when you're so far in your own head, you don't even know what is real. You say things and you don't realize. Like you are so far attached from emotion, you're so numb. You don't realize what you say can hurt other people. And I did that a lot. And same with my actions. It wasn't even the sense that I just wanted to die. I just kind of wanted to not exist. And I've been floating in and out of that since I was young, starting at 9 years old when I said I kind of wish I could just die and wake up a boy. Why wasn't I born a boy? You know, I've cried myself to sleep at that sense. So moving forward, I've grown in my relationships. After my first serious relationship, that ended terribly. They threatened to out me to my mom because the year previously we went to our first Pride, and that was the first time I had ever been introduced to non-binary, queer, gender, non-conforming people, trans people. I had a couple conversations, minimal ones, with some drunk trans women. That was pretty awesome, actually, and that showed me the light of, okay, well, there's more to boy or girl. You know what I mean? I remember the following months being on my third generation iPod Touch at like 2 a.m., hunched over, trying not to wake up my girlfriend next to me, researching, researching being transgender, the different types of hormone therapies, the different types of surgeries, how you may feel, what you have to go through in the area, and I've struggled. I came out to my mom, and I've dealt with being outed in the wrong sense. I've dealt with my mom wasn't very supportive at first because she didn't understand. She came to her own terms, did her own research, and all is well now. She's 100% supportive. I'm her son, and my best friend who's going through the same thing as her kid, and she's got nothing but men around her. I feel so sorry for her right now sometimes because all that testosterone, I don't blame her for going crazy. I would too. But she's very supportive now. I've since come out to my grandparents. They're very supportive. But moving forward, I've been in a handful of relationships. Um, I 3 years ago was when I came out to my family doctor, and we started saying, okay, well, where do we go from here? I was seeing what I thought was a gender therapist and spent about $600 out of pocket, non-refundable money, in what I thought was gender therapy to get my T letter, and I didn't. She somehow didn't even have her Bachelor of Science. I don't know, for anything. She couldn't even have enough to be a social worker, so I don't know how that worked, but I got scammed. And that really sucked because we did vibe well and I was comfortable talking with her, but not anymore. And following that, I was sent a referral to a local endocrinologist. My hometown and the area that I live in, we are about 2 hours, well, an hour and a half ish, 2 hours north of Toronto, depending on where you're coming from. So you'd think that would be still fairly inclusive, but it's not. We have a large population where I live, but it's very close-minded in the general sense. We have a lot of retirees, um, a lot of farmlands around us. So it's, yeah, we've got some interesting characters around here. Um, they called me literally just before I was leaving for the appointment that day, saying, "Oh, we don't deal with your kind of situation," basically. It was very awkward. I've found even looking for local people in the area, therapists or endocrinologists, from where I live anywhere north, completely unsupportive and very gibberish and very skittish around this subject of gender nonconforming transgender people and the type of healthcare that they need. Um, I was sent to a new endocrinologist once I found them. I had to go 45 minutes south of here, uh, and found a couple actually endocrinologists that were like, "Yeah, we've dealt with a couple trans patients. We're very open. We understand what affects, and we have no problem taking you on." Mine is anybody in the local area. Dr. Judah in Newmarket is a very inclusive doctor. Um, Personally, I know now, being on testosterone, I do not need top surgery. I probably maybe minimal like nipple reconstruction. I don't know. My nipples are like a kind of feminine, but nipples are nipples. Um, it's only been 7 weeks, so we'll see. I've already widened four inches across the chest. When it comes to any surgery, the only thing that I will be doing is I will be having a full hysterectomy within the next 6 months to a year, just because my family has a high chance of it. We have my mom. If you've never noticed my tattoo here, sorry, it's my bad shoulder, so it kind of hurts. But she's a 3-time cancer survivor, cervical, breast, and uterine. So, and it runs in my family backwards. So, let's just get all the unnecessary parts out. I don't want to have bottom surgery, and I've confirmed that. I was iffy before, and I've confirmed that since starting T. I'm content with what's going on. In my opinion, I got the best of both worlds. Before, I didn't have much of a sensation, so it was kind of like if I lose sensation, I didn't have any before, so it's fine, because that is one of the risks for some bottom surgeries, is you don't have any sensation. So now I do. I'm not going to lose that. All is well, in my opinion. And everyone does their own transition. I know for me, another reason I was kind of iffy was just because it's still fairly risky. My family already has issues with any surgery about going under, so I didn't want to deal with any major complications. I already am falling apart in the sense that I deal with chronic pain with shoulder issues, back issues, hip issues from an accident about 6.5 years ago. Or sorry, 5.5 years ago. So I want to keep my body as healthy as possible. I want to be under the knife as minimal as possible. And if I'm contented with my body, I don't see why that is wrong. And anybody that feels the same way or is questioning, no one can tell you that the way that you want to transition is wrong. Because it's your body and it's your mind and it's your soul. This is what houses you so long as you are comfortable in your own skin. No one, and you're not hurting anyone in that sense by doing so. Um, like a representation, Sophia in Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox, right? Scamming and putting their family at risk. That is a sense of, okay, you're comfortable in your own skin, but you've put someone else at risk or harming someone else. So long as you aren't doing that in any way, I believe you are right to have your opinion and do as you please. So long as you're not harming anyone or uh, any group of people, do as best as you can. Be as comfortable in your own skin as you can when you leave this lifeline. All is well. So again, I'm going to wrap that up. Presently, I'm doing well. I was lucky in the sense that back in February, I went through a major crash. I basically hit my rock bottom. Um, as I've said, I've dealt with depression my whole life, and I broke down. I've had a lot that's gone on in the last year, mentally, uh, dealing with, health issues with my family, with myself, um, PTSD due to a fire that happened last year. I've been dealing with a lot. It's been it's been one pile after another, and I was lucky enough again. Props to local. I find when it comes to dealing with sexual and mental health, uh, my local area is very good in that sense, and they're very inclusive. My local hospital, I've never really had the greatest stay there, but when it came to breaking down, they were actually very inclusive. Once I started moving upstairs to the crazy bin. Um, but things are well now. My psychologist there was very understanding. In fact, he knew that I wasn't a harm to myself within a few moments of speaking to me. And he understood. Now, this is something I've never heard of, and anybody out there listening, he was positive that um, you know the issues that I've dealt with in the past and currently, because I saw my endocrinologist in November and he wouldn't let me go on T because I didn't have a proper T letter. Um, just lots of struggles, that these were not the issue, that my gender identity is not the reason that I had come to those terms, that it was just one of the many stressors in my life. I've never heard of that. Usually that is the scapegoat for most psychs in the area, from what I've heard. So that was great for me. He's very, very supportive, and he just wants people to go on their journey and be happy. So that's great. I still speak to him on a month-to-month basis, and things are going well. He connected me with the T letter. I literally didn't even know I was starting T the day that I went, and things are great. I mean, there's ups and downs, heat heat or friggin' hot flashes, the hormonal thing up and down. My emotions are up and down. It's gonna happen. I mean, you got to realize it's like menopause and male puberty at the same time. It's a bit crazy, but it's exciting. You have good days, you have bad days. I'm dealing with a lot when it comes to my shoulder and other issues that, let's just say, ex's infidelity, not fun. Uh, but things are moving forward. Uh, just last piece of advice to anyone that has been watching for the last 24 minutes almost. Um, no matter what you're going through, you got to keep going. I've hit my rock bottom, and I feel that right now I've been given a second chance at life because I came pretty close. Um, and I'm gonna do good in that. As I've said in the past, I was not a good partner to my previous girlfriends. This last one I gave it my all. It didn't work so well. I got burned, and I guess that's just karma after everything that I've done, and I've accepted that. But I've made few very strong connections in my life, and because of my family history and losing a lot of family members, if I make a strong connection, I don't ever want to lose that. So the people that I have in the past that I've harmed, if I can do right by them and I can at least get forgiveness, I can move forward in my life. I don't want to cause any more pain, and I want to You can't fix it, you can't take it back, but be on positive terms with anybody that I may have harmed. So I'm in the process of that, and if you can do that, if you can do yourself and be good to you and be good to others, at the end of the day, that's all anybody can ask of you, and that's all you can ask yourself. If you're having a bad day, all you got to do is close your eyes, take a deep breath, try and sleep. Tomorrow is a new day, which means tomorrow is a new journey, and you have a whole new set of hours ahead of you to do better. So keep going, keep pushing. As I said previously, if you need me for any reason, if you have any questions or concerns, you need an educator or someone to send you in the right direction, shoot me a message on any of my social networks, here on YouTube, here on Tumblr, anonymously if you're not comfortable doing so face to face. You can shoot me an email, what have you. Hit me up. Much love. Okay. This has basically been just a long ramble of 25 minutes, 26 minutes now, of my lifeline and my journey so far. For 23 years, I think I've got quite the story. I could go on for days, but if you have any further questions, drop me a line. If not, much love, peace and serenity, as I've said previously, and just do as good as you can. Thanks for watching.